The period between Yud Zayin B'Tammuz and Tisha B'Av is known traditionally as 3 weeks. And it's true that if we measure the time from Yud Zayin B'Tammuz to Tisha B'Av and look on the calendar, we'll see that there are indeed 3 weeks. But we find that Chachamim refer to this period as Bein HaMetzarim, and that is taken from the pasuk in Eicha, right in the beginning of Eicha, third pasuk, where the pasuk concludes with the words Kol Rodfea Hisiguha Bein HaMetzarim. All those who pursued her caught up to her between the straits. Bein HaMetzarim, a Meitzar, is a narrow passage. If you like the way the Torah describes in Parashas Balak, Gader Mizeh veGader Mizeh, where you're in the middle and there's no room to escape to either side. You're blocked off from the sides. You come in at one end, you go out the other end. And clearly, if people are being pursued, that's the kind of place you want to avoid, because it's a trap. There's nowhere to flee. Yirmiyahu Navi describes how the pursuers, the persecutors of Am Yisrael, catch up to us Bein HaMetzarim, in a place, or as Chachamim understood it, a time which is Bein HaMetzarim, a time where we are trapped with nowhere to escape. And hence, this period between Yud Zayin B'Tammuz on one side, Tisha B'Av on the other, is called Bein HaMetzarim. And yet, the tradition in Klal Yisrael is referred to as 3 weeks. So we're going to examine a little bit what this idea of 3 weeks is, and see that it really has some very, very interesting sources. The Tur in Siman Taf Kuf Nun Aleph, describing the preparation for Tisha B'Av, the Minagei Avelos that begin before Tisha B'Av, Mishnichnas Av Mamatim B'Simcha. In the Gemara, there is no reference to any kind of Avelos before Rosh Chodesh Av. So right at the end of Siman Taf Kuf Nun Aleph, the Torah tells us, the Garsinim Yerushalmi says, Mayesh beinehem bein Shiva Asar B'Tammuz Tisha B'Av 21 Yom. Between Shiva Asar B'Tammuz to Tisha B'Av there are 21 days. Mishehuvka Ir Ad Shecharev Habayis, from the breaching of the walls of Yerushalayim on Yud Zayin B'Tammuz until the Churban of Yerushalayim on Tisha B'Av, the Churban Beis HaMikdash. V'yesh Omrim, says the Torah, there are those who say Keneged Shlosha Shavuim Shehisanah Daniel. So those who say that these are 3 weeks, parallel the 3 weeks that Daniel fasted. And in a moment, we will get to the 3 weeks of Daniel, and we'll find another source also for 3 weeks. Hence, we have a minhag from Yud Zayin B'Tammuz to engage in certain practices, minhag Ashkenaz of Avelos. So the Torah refers to 3 weeks of Daniel, and we'll come back to that in Yetzer Hashem in the second share in the series. But we'll begin with another reference to 3 weeks, which we find in the beginning of the first Haftarah that we read in preparation for Tisha B'Av. The 3 weeks are marked by 3 Shabbosim, 3 Haftarahs, a series which Chazal referred to as Tlasa de Puranusa, the 3 Haftarahs of impending doom, which foretell of the coming Churban. And the first one is Perek Aleph of Yirmiyahu. And there we read as follows: Vayhi devar Hashem elai lemor, ma taro'eh Yirmiyahu. Hashem says to Yirmiyahu, shows him a vision, asks him, what do you see? Va'omar makel shaked ani roeh. And he says, I see an almond branch. V'yomer Hashem elai heitavta liros. Hashem says, good job, you saw well. Ki shoked ani al dvari la'aseh, because I am determined to bring about my word swiftly. The first vision of Yirmiyahu, the second vision of Yirmiyahu actually, is a makel shaked, an almond branch.
Rashi tells us, Heitav talirot, you've seen well, Hashaked hazehu mamahelot si perach kodim l'cholei lanus. The shaked, the almond tree, is unique in that it brings forth its blossoms before any other tree. I live in Har Nof in Yerushalayim. Comes the month of Shvat, around Tu B'Shvat time, still the middle of winter, cold outside, the trees are bare, and I'm driving up through Jerusalem forest, and all of a sudden there's a tree in glorious blossom, and you know for sure, no question, it's the almond tree. While everything else is still dead, still bare in the middle of